Couple of seconds. We're going to give it a couple of seconds for people to come on in, get settled, maybe grab a cup of water, creator's best medicine. I got my pen and paper. Let me tell you, today's webinar with Loa is going to be a great one. I was sharing with her earlier. It was in one of her webinars. So I'm an entrepreneur as well. Welcome. My name is Michelle, joining from Amiskwaciy, Waskagan, Treaty 6 territory. I'm an entrepreneur as well. And in one of her sessions, she had talked about Canva. I've never heard of Canva before. And as you know, she dropped some really good knowledge. And after that webinar, went and did my research, signed up for Canva. And let me tell you, for me, it was a game changer for my business. So that's the kind of knowledge that Loa brings to the table, to help us to be better at what we're doing here in Creators World, whether it's our personal businesses, whether it's, organizations that we're part of, First Nation communities, right? So I think she is exceptional. I'm honored that she's joined us. It is Tuesday. You joined Innovate BC. We're happy that you're here. Feel free to put in the chat box where you're joining from. It's always good to know where our family is joining from today. Also, we just take a moment to acknowledge, we're part of Creators World. We're doing what we can to make this world a little stronger, a little better than what it was yesterday. And we also think 7 generations. We think about what kind of legacy are we leaving for the kids who haven't even been born yet. We want to leave our world in a better place so that they can rise, they can succeed, they have good and equal opportunity. So sessions like this, knowledge sharing, is so integral, so important. So we're really glad and honored that you are here today. So today's presentation, transform your business through digital tech. And again, I just think all the information that she brings is really transformative to the work that we do. So you're going to learn how digital technologies are transforming the way we do business, gain practical insights into using apps such as Google Drive Docs, Canva, Hootsuite, and more streamlined communication, deepening customer member relationships, and automating routine processes that will save your business time and money. Don't miss the chance. You're here. You're going to enhance your efficiency and productivity with this webinar, packed with how-to tips to make your business life easier. So our guest speaker, Loa, she's the managing director of Activate, has over 12 years of experience empowering Indigenous professionals through marketing, technology, and business training. Her engaging teaching style has led many participants to become award-winning entrepreneurs. So you're here. It is November 7th. We are getting our learn on this afternoon, and she's exceptional. Again, over 20 years of entrepreneurial, marketing, technology, and sales expertise. So Loa, she just is such a shining light with just incredible knowledge. We're honored you're here. So I'm going to pass this virtual mic over to you. Welcome, welcome. The show is yours.
Oh, thank you, Michelle. She always brings so many good vibes to every single webinar and every room that she walks into. Does everybody agree? Thank you, Michelle, for that warm welcome. And Tara, thank you for organizing this webinar today, and for Candu and Innovate BC to be sponsoring this. It's wonderful to have the opportunity for all of us to get together and to learn and to grow, especially in this very interesting, evolving world that is changing right before our eyes and changing so quickly. So technology, of course, is at the root of all of that. And so it's important for all of us as business owners or as employees or managers working within a corporation to really understand what the landscape is all about, where it's heading, where is it going, so that we can keep up and make sure that we're able to utilize technology to the best of its ability, and that we don't become dinosaurs. We want to be in it. We want to be in it to win it, right? So hopefully some of these tips and tricks I'm going to share with you today will be beneficial for your business and your the systems and processes that you're working with. And please do feel free to share about your experiences. It's important because we all bring our own expertise and experiences to this room today. And we all have a lot of different experiences interacting with various technologies. So let's share on that, because we can also learn from each other. So without further ado, I do want to acknowledge that I have the distinct pleasure of living, working, and playing on the traditional territories of the Squamish, Musqueam, and Tsleil-Waututh people. I'm located in Vancouver, close to Granville Island. And as Michelle said, I've been doing this for a very long time. I've had my own marketing agency for 20 plus years. And then I've been teaching and training Indigenous and non-Indigenous people in various business strategies and techniques for over 12 years now. So without any more delay, let's move along. I would like to learn about you. If you could quickly unmute yourself and let us know your name and your business, what you want to learn today, what brought you to this webinar, and what's your favorite leisure activity. Let's start with, how about Herb? Herb, are you there? Okay, Herb might have stepped away, or maybe he's just doing something else. How about Ken? Ken, are you there?
I'm here. It's my name is Ken. I'm in the communications business. I'm a Indigenous ally. That's my full-time job. And
Nice.
what's my favorite leisure? I actually enjoy. I used to be a facilitator and doing some training as a sideline, and so I enjoy trying to teach something. There's a saying that if you want to learn something, try and teach it. And it turns out the people that know more about it than you do come out to see how much you know. So anyway, you learn a lot when you try and teach something. Anyway, that's enough for me.
I'm with you there, Ken. Thank you. Well said. Well said. And it's so nice to see you again and to have you here. Okay, and how about Jackson? Jackson, can you tell us a little bit about you?
Yeah, I'm the manager of the Indigenous Digital Accelerator at Capilano University. So I'm not technically in a business, but what we do is help businesses. So Indigenous businesses located in British Columbia, we help them innovate their business using technology.
Fantastic. Okay, well then you're definitely going to be able to add to this conversation today. This is your thing too. Right on. And Jackson, what do you like to do when you're not working?
I have a dog and he requires a lot of attention, so that's usually what I'm doing.
Oh, that's awesome. Yes, fur babies do require a lot of attention, but they sure give a lot back, don't they?
They do.
Yeah, agreed. Okay, thank you, Jackson. And I think we have I think that's it for the participants. So let's go over our agenda today. So we're going to talk about the current environment and what does the digital technologies world look like from today's perspective. And then we're also going to look ahead and have a peek into where things are heading and why it's important for us to ensure that as professionals, we're keeping up with how technology is changing our world, our lives, and our businesses. We'll also look at some resources and some of my favorite apps that I use on a day-to-day basis to be able to more easily digitalize your business. We'll look at a case study from an Indigenous business who did a fairly significant pivot using technology. And then we'll also look at how to adopt these new strategies and to make sure we're really discovering and gaining some knowledge and understanding of what sort of technology could help us to be that much stronger in our businesses, to be able to come up with new ideas and be able to implement them to benefit for ourselves personally as professionals, as well as for our business. Okay, here's how we block people in the 80s. Right? I think we're all here of a certain demographic, so we can probably all relate. Right? We just took the phone off the hook. And now here's what a lot of us do, right? It's all about the smart apps, and now we can very much control the communications that's coming at us. You know, sometimes it's coming at us a little too frequently, but it's easy enough to be able to just put that person into voicemail, or to ask them to go to a text message, or, you know, it's just so much easier to control the amount of communication that we have now. Here's today's business environment, right? So COVID, we were doing Zooming and we were using video chat and prior to COVID, but it has just accelerated the rate that we use digital communications from a business capacity. So now a lot of businesses have a hybrid option. So many people have returned to the office, but a lot of companies now still have give their employees the ability to work from home at least a couple days a week. And there's about 20% of Canada's workforce who work from home on a day-to-day basis. Myself, yours truly included. And here's my environment. This is what I deal with on a day-to-day basis. Jackson, you mentioned fur babies. This is exactly what happens to me every single day, which is funny and cute, but also a little bit, takes me away from what I need to get done sometimes. Okay, so post-COVID business strategies. So how has our world and how has Canada, Canadian businesses adapted? So there's a substantial impact on Canada's digital economy since COVID happened, because it just, as I said, accelerated the use of digital tech that we as Canadians have. We were forced into it. We were kind of going, kicking and screaming, where a lot of processes, especially in business, were still being done quite in a traditional way prior to COVID. But, COVID hit, we had social distancing. We couldn't go out and meet people anymore. So we, as human beings, the good thing about us is we're adaptable. And because of technology, the tech was there. And so we were able to adapt to this new way of doing business and having it be more about utilizing digital technologies than we ever did before. So we now have, as I mentioned, the remote workforce, and digital adoption has happened at every stage and every level of business, whether it's small business to large business, allowing us to better connect and just being more streamlined with our operations. The use of video conferencing is very normal for us today, to just hop on and have meetings. And, this also has sped up the rate that we do business. So that fact has made it a little more challenging, because, nobody really sleeps anymore. We're always either doing business, decisions get made so quickly, is where I'm going. So, I mean, it's a good thing that we have all these resources, but I think we also need to learn how to disconnect sometimes too, because it can be a little overwhelming. But it also allows us just to be that much better with our collaboration. And of course, e-commerce has just exploded since the pandemic, in Canada especially. So there's more frequent use of mixed reality tools as well. Online shopping has exploded. So people who weren't super comfortable giving their Visa or MasterCard online, have become a lot more comfortable with it. And, who doesn't order from Amazon these days? I don't know too many people that don't. There is increased flexibility in the workplace. There is a much higher gig economy now. More people have gone freelance than ever before. And we definitely have to take a digital first and digital mindset view when we're looking at the future of our own jobs, as well as the future for our businesses. So Canada's digital economy has grown significantly in the last 2 decades. Between 2010 to 19, it exceeded the overall GDP growth by 40%. That is massive growth. That is huge. And the contribution that our digital economy makes is on par with our largest industries of resources and oil, gas, and the mining sectors. Again, that is another significant change to our economy. And then digital information has transformed so many sectors and impacted how we live, how we work, how we play, how we travel, shop, etc. So this is the new environment, and we're not going back anytime soon. We are very technically savvy as a country as well, with a very high internet usage penetration rate at 94%. As I mentioned, many Canadians are now shopping online comfortably, so about 28 million. Our e-commerce retail sales went from 25.4 billion in 2020 to 33.3 billion expected for 2024. 3 out of 4 small to medium-sized businesses are now selling online. Half of those basically had to go online or dissolve their businesses during COVID. So that's been a forced transition for people. But, you know, as with anything, sometimes we're forced to do things in life that we think are a bad thing, but it ends up being, we find out it's a good thing later on. And so a lot of these businesses have been able to scale and just to be much more efficient because they were forced to use more digital tech to run their operations. And 88% of Canadians have mobile devices. Most younger Canadians spend an average of 5 hours a day online. And that includes probably significantly being in social media channels. 85% of Canadians are active in social media, at least one social media platform. Probably Facebook for the most part if it's the older generation, but and everybody's on YouTube. But the younger generation is definitely Instagram and Snapchat and TikTok. But we're gaining ground, us the older ones. Okay, so our future is digital. So what do we do about these? The fact that we are now in a fully digital economy that is being fueled and growing daily. Well, predicting future job skills is not an easy thing to do because of the rapid digital transformation. We need to really think about having a holistic skill set. So this is going to be crucial for success. So combining our tech skills with and things like coding, data analytics, AI, machine learning with soft skills like critical thinking, leadership, and resilience and empathy. You know, these are skills that AI, a lot of people are really afraid of losing their jobs due to AI. And AI, let's face it, is probably going to eliminate about 30% of jobs that are available today. So what does that mean for us? How do we future-proof our careers? We make sure we're doing things like what we're all here doing today, learning about how to transition our skills and make sure that we keep up with where the future is heading and with where we are now even. So digital literacy is essential even for people who are not necessarily in the tech sector. And it's going to be, we need this for communication, for connection, and for processing information and streamlining our systems and our operations. We also need to be lifelong learners. And this is vital, especially as our world continues to evolve and technology continues to change our lives on a daily basis. So here's some of the tech that is no longer futuristic. This is actually all happening. So augmented reality, if you have ever shopped at Wayfair or any other furniture stores, a lot of them now have the ability where you can see one of their products in your actual space by using your phone. That's known as augmented reality. And then there's, of course, electronic vehicles are already on the roads. And self-driving cars are, you know, that was once thought to be something that was like way out there in our future, right? Star Trek type kind of stuff, but it's existing now. And you know, there's cars that right now are self-driving, but, you know, are they to the point where it's going to be where the cars won't need any sort of assistance from a human, which is mind-blowing to me, but it's, you know, it's happening. This is becoming our reality. And then, of course, mixed, virtual reality. So this is already being used in many cases for manufacturing 3D printing, that's been around for a while, but it's getting even more advanced. I've seen houses get 3D printed using this type of crazy, insane, cool technology. Holograms are not necessarily mainstream yet, but they're right around the corner. And smart apps, and having a smart home. I'm sure some of you have probably either had a smart speaker that you can talk to, like Google Assistant or Amazon Alexa's. And then eventually all of our appliances are going to be attached to our smart assistant. So your fridge will tell you when you're running out of eggs, or, you know, or you can right now, you can already turn the lights on or off when you're not home, you know, and see what's going on in your home with digital cameras. So it's, you know, the future is friendly. The future's friendly, and it's going to be pretty cool to see all the other, you know, interesting things that we're going to be able to do through technology. And this is on the consumer perspective. So the same, very similar stuff is happening with business. Okay, so on it from a marketing viewpoint, you know, everything's going so much more interactive and engaging. You know, it's all about engaging, especially when you look at how much media is coming at us on a day-to-day basis. Over 60,000 ads we see on a day-to-day basis, which is monstrous. Our brains just cannot handle paying attention to everything. Like, we just cannot. So we only filter what's relevant, what's right in front of us, what's important to us, and what we can use in the moment. In this case, you know, marketing has to get more creative and has to get more interactive in order to get our attention. So here's an example of a billboard. I don't know how the heck they did it on a billboard, but it's from somewhere in Asia. And it's just, this is mind-blowing tech to me. Like, can you believe that? Like, that is a billboard. How the heck did they make that 3D in real life? Like, that is crazy. But it just shows you how good it's getting, right? It's pretty neat. And so now here's a really good, fairly quick video on what the future of our business is going to look like, and what type of jobs are going to be essential, and what we need to pay attention to.
If you're watching this, you're among the 3% of people that understand that the future of work is going to look very different from what it is now. So keep watching. Let's see where we're heading. It's also exciting, right? Siri will recognize your voice even if you're 5 meters away from your phone. That new chatbot feels totally real. Self-driving cars are no longer fiction. You can analyze your DNA. You tried flying that drone for the first time, and you're thinking of buying a smart speaker to make your life so much easier. A few years from now, and that's something like 3 years, not 30, artificial intelligence, robotics, machine learning, mass 3D print, biotechnology, chatbots, virtual reality, deep learning, drones, augmented reality, smart objects will all be deeply enrooted in our everyday lives. Just like computers, phones, or electricity are for us today. Oh well, is this really going to happen? And if it does, you'll adapt when the time comes, right? Life is good. You love your job. You've been working for this established company for a few years. You're comfortable in your position. You know what you're good at. People like you. And that last presentation you gave got you some amazing reactions. You're safe with your company. In the meantime, you see an article or two speculating on the future of jobs. McKinsey published a report stating that 45% of all current tasks could be automated with present technology. The World Economic Forum estimates that 33% of jobs in 2020 don't even exist yet. But what do they know, right? You've got time. Oh, look, the supermarket just introduced self-cashier machine. You're at the airport checking in luggage. What the heck happened to all the real people at the check-in desk? Gone, replaced by machines. But it's only the low-skilled jobs, right? Nope, think again. In 2012, there were 150,000 humans working on Wall Street. 3 years later, automation has cut that number down to 100,000. That's 1/3 gone. But it's only the mathematical and scientific jobs, right? Nope, think again. This Japanese insurance company, Fukoku Mutual Life Insurance, is already replacing all its human insurance claim workers with an AI system that will handle customers more efficiently. See these articles? They're written by algorithms, and we can't tell the difference with human written content. And thinking of converting yourself to being an online poker player? Too late. There's an AI that can already beat humans at it. Most journalists, tax consultants, marketeers, technicians, knowledge workers, lawyers, even the person editing this video right now will to some extent have been impacted or automated by technology in a couple of years. So what have you been doing? Probably watching Netflix. And the problem is the machines don't wait. And the machine, they don't watch Netflix. So what are the forces at play here? Basically, there's 10 million developers out there using increasingly simple and cheap technology to build new products and services. Some as young as 12 are already coding the future. Even that safe company you work for is increasingly under outside threat. And it's not just the Google, Amazon, Facebooks, and Apples of the world that I'm talking about. There are now tens of thousands of startups out there eating away at all sorts of jobs. Now, are they creating many jobs in the process? Let's look at some stats. Travel a bunch of years back to when Kodak ruled the world of photography. They were worth 38 billion and employed 140,000 people. That's approximately $270,000 per employee.
Our people work with pride to make Kodak a creative and innovative company.
Fast forward to recent times, YouTube sold for 1.65 billion with a mere 65 employees. That's $25 million per employee. Instagram, which had 13 employees and was sold for $1 billion. That's $77 million per employee. WhatsApp sold for 19 billion with 55 employees. That's a staggering 345 million per employee. So how is this all possible? Technology has allowed the emergence of what we call exponential organizations. These are exponentially fast-growing companies that leverage technology and require less employees, but more tech-savvy ones.
You will find that we are technology optimists. We believe that technology is a major driver of change in the world.
And as software continues to eat up the world, more companies are trying to replicate these exponential companies, hire less people, but grow exponentially through technology. As this happens, job roles are slowly disappearing and being replaced by skill sets. Employers require you to know an ever-growing number of new and ever-changing fundamental skills in order to use the technologies they've implemented. Master the fundamentals, and you can master the rest. A digital skills gap is growing for both mid-skill and high-skill level jobs. Before you know it, you become irrelevant. But wait, what's this doomsday message? There's actually a way to leverage technology before it leverages you. And in fact, it's never been easier to do so. This might sound kind of corny, but it starts with the right state of mind. It starts with having a growth mindset where you have the desire and the confidence that you can learn anything. Shift your thinking on how these technologies will rattle and mutate, but enrich your work life. Because yes, if you play your cards right, technology will make your work life and your life in general much, much better. The fact is that technology will actually remove boring, repetitive jobs from your way, but only if you understand the fundamentals. And you have no excuse not to do so. How can you stay relevant if you can't talk the lingo? How can you stay relevant if you can't execute? Can you talk tech? Can you talk APIs? Can you talk code? Can you talk data? While slow educational institutions are struggling to keep up, that's not an excuse. Train yourself, take your education in your own hands, learn to code, learn about behavioral psychology, automation tools, playing with data, user experiences, be curious. And if you're an employer, train your people. Online and offline courses have never been more readily available or rich in content. It's time to build something. Your greatest credential in this new era is your output of stuff. Proof of your awesomeness, a website, a blog, a prototype, a simple data model. It's time to build cool stuff and showcase it. It's time to start learning. It's time to get shit done. It's time for your growth.
So what did y'all think of that video? Interesting, isn't it? See where things are going? I mean, we all are pretty familiar with the fact that our lives are changing rather rapidly because of technology, but you know, sometimes you don't, it's not, if you don't have a high level view, it's so easy to just get, you know, caught up in your day-to-day responsibilities of what you have to do. And meanwhile, all this cool stuff is happening around us. So that's why I'm really inspired and impressed that you're all here today to learn about this, because it's important. It's important that we know where technology is now and where it's heading in the near future, so that we can make sure that we're adapting and keeping up. So Indigenous businesses in Canada are also adapting to new technologies. There are 50,000 Indigenous businesses now across the country. 99% of them are SMEs, so small to medium-sized enterprises. Indigenous businesses have seen an increase in growth of about 44% on the number of companies from 2011 to 2016. Indigenous people are very entrepreneurial, starting and running businesses 9 times quicker than non-Indigenous entrepreneurs. They're also Indigenous people, the fastest growing segment of the country's population. 32 billion was the Indigenous economy as of 2016, which is now grown to 48.9 billion part of GDP as of 2020. And that is expected to grow. If you watch anything that Carol Ann talks about in Indigenomics, is expected to grow to 100 billion within the next 5 years. So that is monstrous growth. And that, of course, is going to come from big projects as well as independent entrepreneurs. And Indigenous businesses are building capacity, prosperity, and success like never before. And I know because I am teaching a lot of them. I have that pleasure. It's been fantastic. And SMBs are definitely adapting. They're tightening up their spending, making sure that they're investing in new technology, finding new products and markets, market segments, and are also making sure that they're using technology to streamline operations. So here's a really cool case study. Mr. Bannock is a very wonderful entrepreneur from the Squamish Nation, Paul Nuttrell. And Paul, during COVID, you know, he had a food truck. So he was one of my participants way back. He came into my classroom probably about 7 years ago. And he was a young chef at the time with 4 or 5 kids and a single dad, you know, and he was just wanting to start his business, get a food truck going. And it was, you know, it's a very challenging time for him, being he was as young as he was and trying to take care of, you know, single father. So you can imagine the challenges that he had to overcome. But he started his business. He did it. He learned everything he needed to learn to start and grow his business. He got a little bit of money from TAC for funding to get his food truck. And he just went ahead and he did it. So he's been starting and growing a successful food truck as well as a catering company. And then COVID hit, and his company that was full speed ahead had suddenly hit a roadblock because he wasn't able to do. His company was primarily bricks and mortar. So seeing in person. So then he had to think about, well, what am I going to do? How am I going to shift my business to be able to survive? So Paul, being the innovative guy that he is, and he's also very much adopted social media. He's a really good promoter of his company on social media. So that's one way that he uses technology to really grow his business. But when he pivoted, this was an exceptional move on his part, because he thought, okay, well, you know, I have the ability to figure out how to do an online order system. So he created an app and made sure it was all e-commerce friendly, so that then he started introducing new deliveries where he would package up food. So kind of like Fresh Prep, you know how Fresh Prep will send you all the ingredients and then you put it together yourself. So he was doing that sort of thing, but with the Indigenous cuisine lens. So he got a $7,500 e-commerce grant. He built, he made the e-commerce addition to his website. He created an app that he put on the App Store. He introduced new product lines for his at-home delivery prep, as well as introduced a new product line with a new coffee line that he has. And so he was offering ready to make meals at home and using technology to really shift his business focus. So now, not only does he have the e-commerce side of his business, but he also has of course, we're all back in person now, so he's got the bricks and mortar too. So when you look at utilizing technology in a business and how you can go about doing that, and of course he uses technology for all of his back end as well. You know, that is such a great example of showing how technology allows us to not only find solutions to problems, but also to grow and expand our business. So I love his I love his story and how he's overcome what he has. And he's also been a BC Indigenous Award winner, and he's since introduced his children to the business as well. So he always does a lot of giving back to his community. So he's definitely someone to follow in social media if you want to be inspired and not only from a business perspective, but also just to see an Indigenous entrepreneur doing really great things. I think he's going to Europe and also doing different things with his company in Europe with other chefs as well. So he's gone global, which is pretty cool. So if we look at digitalizing our business, what does that mean exactly? Well, it's change management, isn't it? It's moving from a traditional model where everything was done kind of, with individual spreadsheets and to a model where it's more automated. That is, at the end of the day, we want to be more automated, more streamlined, and also how we serve customers can be enhanced too, just by having better communications, better personalization, and better understanding the data and how our customers are consuming our information and buying from us. So it's definitely worth it if you haven't digitalized your business to ensure that you're doing that. And so let's look at some technology integration that will help us to really go full on into the digital space. So the first one is a knowledge resource that I'd like to share that I really enjoy. It used to be, so two companies have merged. It used to be Scribed. And so for a mere $12.99 a month, you can get so many different books and publications on any topic you can possibly imagine. You can get audio books, you can get digital books. It's really a fantastic resource because I love Audible too, and I use Audible as well. But Scribed, for what you pay, you get a ton of value. So it's just really good for learning, and especially where communication and technology and business growth is concerned. This is such a good resource for learning. Okay, we're here today on video chat, so everybody's, I'm assuming, on this call is pretty comfortable with doing business online and definitely taking advantage of the web conferencing software. Now we can right now, because we've only got an hour together, I can't do a whole lot of interactivity, but when I do my longer classes, I tend to like to use a lot of the apps within Zoom that allow us to be more interactive. So using the whiteboard, using breakout rooms, using fun activities where, it just really gamifies the learning experience, which is important because, as we all know, sitting and listening, even right now, sitting and listening for a while, your brain gets tired. We need, as human beings, especially when it's a long period of time, we need to be engaging. We need to be interactive. And so I do, as much as I can, get that interactivity going. Okay, so cloud file sharing. I think we probably all are pretty familiar with the fact that almost everything can be hosted on the cloud now, which is great. Google Drive and Google Docs is wonderful. I don't know how much is anybody here using Google Docs for collaboration with colleagues? Yeah, Michelle, isn't it fantastic? Because everything you do and when you share files, you can do it in real time and make changes in real time. So that's really beneficial when it comes to collaboration with your employees, your managers, your clients, your colleagues. It just really allows us to be that much more efficient. And then, so this is kind of on everybody's mind nowadays, is ChatGPT. So this is another, Michelle, you were saying how much you love Canva. So everybody, Canva is a creative app. I haven't included Canva, I forgot to include it today, but if you have to do any kind of marketing or any kind of advertising, or even putting together presentations, Canva.com is your best friend, because there's a whole bunch of templates that are already look great, and you just have to slide and plug in your text or your imagery to make it look more like your brand. But it's such a great resource. So ChatGPT, I've been using it quite frequently ever since it was introduced. It allows us as humans to really speed up a lot of the communications that we need to do. It is good for research as well, but what I find, because it only goes to 2021, you do have to make sure that you check any research that you're asking ChatGPT for. But it's really good for writing business letters, communication. It's good for marketing communication. If you need to do a social media post, you just type in into ChatGPT, you know, what is into the prompt. Write me a social media post about the 3 key things you need to know about social media, right? So then all of a sudden, just like what you're seeing here, you have to prompt ChatGPT and give it some context. Then it will give you a great response, and a very comprehensive response too. So the thing to know about ChatGPT is you just really need to like play around with it and start asking it different questions. But remember, you need to give it context. And you also will sometimes, if it's something to do with marketing, you'll need to humanize it a little bit, because let's face it, it is it is technology, it is AI, so it doesn't have the human emotion element. So we do need to make it a little bit more human friendly when we're doing any sort of marketing with it. But ChatGPT is going to be your best friend. You need reports, you need an outline for a presentation, you need to put together a marketing piece, you're doing a webinar and you need an outline for that. You know, that's ChatGPT will do it all for you. It's amazing. Michelle, have you been using it? Not yet? You're going to love it as much as you love Canva.
I just heard about it today. So this is exceptional.
It is amazing. Like, it's mind blowing how much time it will save you. You know, it's pretty cool. Okay, so any questions about ChatGPT? Because I know this is on a lot of people's minds because it was introduced, you know, commercially not long ago. Does anybody have any questions about this and how to use it? Is anybody else using it? Harry, welcome. I see you joined us. Ken,
yeah, I use it, ChatGPT. Does it integrate with Teams? How does that?
Well, it's everybody can, you know, it's a website, so anybody in an app, so anybody can sign in, log in and use it. So you could, if you're doing an online meeting, you could certainly bring it into your meeting and start playing around with it, asking it different things, finding out, you know, whatever it is that you and your colleagues want to know about, ChatGPT will tell you.
Yeah, I tried ChatGPT. I just type summarizing bullet points how to develop a business plan, and then it takes 2 seconds.
Right?
It's
like, how? It's mind blowing. Like, what would have taken us hours before in research and putting together, you know, reports or materials now takes literally seconds for ChatGPT. So Harry, that's great that you're using it. That's fantastic. It does take, don't you agree though? It does take a little bit of finessing to learn how to get the right type of response that you're looking for, right? Because it does love, ChatGPT loves lists. So if you need to do something that's more conversational versus giving you a list, a bulleted list, then you just have to tell ChatGPT to please give that to me in the summary form. Or it also loves to give really long pieces of information as a response. So then you just have to, again, give it new context and say, you know, that's great, but can you summarize that down to, say, 300 words, right? So because sometimes you need copy that's not, you know, 5 pages long. So that's another way to, again, to learn how to prompt, and ChatGPT does eventually start, just like your AI assistant on your phone, it starts to learn the kinds of things that you ask and the sort of information that you're looking for, and learns your tone and stuff. So yeah, it's a really powerful app to use. Okay, here's another one, project management. I don't know how many of you have used Slack, but it is a fantastic program to be able to share information in real time. So you can have all your documents on Google Drive, for example, and take a document that you're working on and share it with your team in a private chat window that is specific to that project. And then you can all work on it within Slack, which is fantastic. And it has a running history of the communication that you have with your team. So you can always refer back to it. And this is way better than sending a billion emails back and forth. You know, that can get really convoluted, and you know, you can easily lose information that's key in an individual email, whereas in Slack, you can just read up the conversation and find it again. And you can also search for it, which is good. Online booking systems like Calendly are fantastic. If you need to organize, first of all, organize your own day and your own time or your own week, giving people a quick link to know when you're available if you want to set up meetings. It's also really excellent if you need to poll a bunch of people and see what their best time is. I just did that for a course that I taught online for Northern Indigenous entrepreneurs. And trying to get everybody on the same page is not easy, especially when you're doing multiple emails back and forth, or even using Outlook doesn't even have that capability. But this is, by the way, Calendly is integrated with Outlook. So that's a really key piece to know too, but it's just very good for scheduling. Proposals and agreements. Oh, somebody say something?
Yeah, even with the Teams.
Yeah. Yeah, you can do it with Teams too, Harry, for sure. Thank you.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, have you used it? Are you using it?
Are you talking to me?
Yeah. Are you using
No, I'm not using that one.
Oh, okay. Yeah, try it. It's also a really good scheduling app. Okay, and then so this one, Proposify, is a really good app for creating proposals and agreements that are all held online. And also you can just easily send out a link to an agreement or a proposal, have your client or your customer or your partner sign it, and then away you get alerted. Everything's held online in one area, and it looks good. They've got templates. It just really polishes and personalizes and makes the whole agreement and proposal process really streamlined. You get alerted anytime there's somebody views the proposal. You know, both of you get sent a copy. You know when it's been signed. It's just, again, another way to really make all your processes and systems a lot more efficient. In this day and age, we all need to do presentations, don't we? And it's never been more important that those presentations look top notch. So there's a lot of templates out there that will allow you to create really polished presentation slides. So something like slidesalad.com, you know, for one fee, either you pay per year, or you can pay monthly. You can get a whole bunch of templates that are already created that then you just need to drag and drop in your information. So again, it's about using technology to make your life a lot easier. Mind you, you do have to learn the app. There is that. But once you learn it, then it's all smooth sailing. Okay, accounting systems. So this is something that many small businesses, and by the way, most economic development corporations for Indigenous communities are considered small businesses. They're run as a small business. So all of these apps are relevant to both ECDEV as well companies, as well as individual businesses, large or small. So accounting systems, there's of course QuickBooks, I think we're all pretty familiar with. I find that is not quite as user-friendly as FreshBooks. FreshBooks does everything from tracking time for you or your employees to invoicing, to generating revenue and cash flow and expense reports, to paying employees payroll. It is such a great app that's been life-changing for me and has made all my accounting so much easier. So it also will keep track, and you can hook it up to your if you're self-employed, you could hook it up to your own bank account and all your credit cards accounts, and it will pull in all the expense information. And of course, as soon as you use it and say when your invoices have been paid, it keeps track of all of your sales And so at the end of the year, it's all there for you just to do a quick report and give it to your tax accountant. And it's so much easier. It saves me hours and hours and hours of time where I used to do it, kind of more old school prior to using FreshBooks. Digital marketing trends. So this is really important because in today's environment, it's all, we've got so much media coming at us. And in order for us to even filter any of it, it's got to be good, because that's all we're going to pay attention to, is something that's relevant to us and it looks really good and has some kind of an emotional appeal. Then we will stop and pay attention. Otherwise, we ignore it. We just scroll right by. So what are some of the digital marketing trends that are really key today? Well, video marketing. This is one of the fastest ways, especially with short form videos, that we as consumers, both retail as well as business consumers, consume information today. Video is the fastest way that our brains can comprehend and make sense of information. So if you need to get something across and you're not in person with someone, or you need to get a message out, whether it's to your team, whether it's to your customers, video marketing is your best friend. And there's so many different apps that are available to help you with that, including Canva.com is a really good one too. You can make really great short form videos in there. Storytelling. This is the best way to get people to engage and to understand your message is through telling a story and giving a case study. Mobile first. 50% of traffic now comes from our mobile phones. We're all mobile these days. Most of us have a smartphone. We're all on the move, and in many cases, we're checking social media sites from our smartphone, and as well as we're checking websites from our smartphone. So it's really important. Make sure your company has a mobile first web strategy. Has to be, because otherwise, if you can probably all relate. If you land on a website and you have to start trying to blow it up to see the links and to see the information, forget it. We don't take the time anymore. We just bounce and we go to the next website that is easy to read on a smartphone. So it just is what it is. That's the nature of where we're at today. Social media. So almost more than 3/4 of people are in social media. Canadians are very tech savvy. We are heavy users of social media. So as a company, as a business, as an individual professional, we need to know how to use social media. At the very least, as a professional, we need to have a good LinkedIn profile. That's minimum to be expected. As a company, we have to ensure that our company is doing a really good job at having a solid online presence, and that we are excellent at communicating the value that we provide through our website and through other marketing channels that we use that are digitally based. Content marketing. This is how we as people now find out about products, services, and ideas, is through what's known as content marketing. This is where companies share information about their products and services or ideas on things that we may care about. And almost all search queries these days are also on voice, on using your Google Assistant. So it's important too to make sure that your company's content is all search engine optimized and looks good, sounds good. It's now about we can't just get by on crappy content anymore. It's got to be really polished. And then chatbots. I think we're all pretty familiar with using chatbots today. So if your company is able to use a chatbot, that will definitely streamline a lot of the Q&As that your customers may have. So those are the marketing trends. And if we look quickly at, again, the more engaging the ad is, the more we're going to pay attention. So a lot of advertising is going 3D these days, and it's going to get even better. This is an example of one company that has templates that advertisers can use and just plunk in your own branding. Kind of cool, right? This makes you, it's just unique. It makes you pay attention. Okay, Hootsuite for social media. Social media can be a bit of an animal. It takes a lot of work, but if you use a dashboard like Hootsuite, it just makes it so much quicker and easier for you to post to all your channels at once and to understand what's being, what everybody else is doing in social media. You can just go through your streams really quickly on your phone. And also you can schedule your social media posts. It just makes doing social media a lot more efficient. Customer relationship management. This is known as CRM. There's a company by the name of HubSpot.com where you can get a free account for customer relationship management, which keeps track of all your customers or your colleagues, your vendors, all your stakeholders, so that you have, the more you know about your customers, your stakeholders, the closer that relationship you're going to have with them, because you're going to remember things from them based on what you've written in their contact card, or you'll remember when you have a task, something to follow up with them. And then if it's a sale, for example, in a sales process, you can go back and you can see what have they bought before, what's the time frame in their sales cycle when they're ready to buy again, or if they're a potential partner, okay, what was the last conversation we had? So it just allows you to really be good with your data. You can also email directly through the CRM program. Email, I would highly recommend you use an HTML email app, because it's going to give you really nice templates. You're going to look polished. Plus, you can track all of your response rates, see who opened it, and see where they clicked. So again, it's giving you a lot more data and giving you the capability to be a lot more effective with your emails. Okay, so from the perspective of what's next, well, we definitely want to make sure that all aspects of our business are going digital. So what does that mean? Assess your digital needs, see what areas of your business can benefit from using digital tools like what I just introduced. Develop a digital strategy, get together with your team, outline your clear goals, your budget, your timelines for integrating any digital tech. Invest in training. Make sure you're always upskilling yourself and your employees to know what is the technology that we're using today, and what is the tech that is going to be imminent tomorrow. Monitor and adapt. Regularly review your digital adoption strategies and look at them against your goals. Make sure you're staying flexible and that you're adapting as needed. So thank you so much, everybody, for being here today. I hope that I've given you a few tips that you can take away and immediately start to use. I do highly recommend you start playing around with ChatGPT, because I think you're going to find it quite beneficial for your business. So thanks again, everyone. And a minute to spare. Any questions?
All right. Well, thanks. So, Harry, did you have your hand up? Yeah, come on in. 1 minute.
Will you be able to send me the PowerPoint presentation by email?
Sure. Yes, Harry. Sure. I'll send that over to Tara and Michelle, and they can send it to you. Yeah.
Okay. They have an email, right?
Yeah, you registered, so they would. I would suspect so. Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks, Harry.
Loa, thank you. You have walked us through a lot of resources, and I'm just so excited, especially with the ChatGPT. I honestly just heard about it this morning, and I was very, very curious, but sometimes you're just like, nah, that sounds like too much work to go. And now here it is right in front of me again. So I think that this is really, you're right. The future is digital. We need to learn these things, and they will help us. They will help us. Sometimes we have that barrier in our own thoughts, like, oh, that's too much extra work, but it will help us in the long run. So thank you so much for all of the resources that you brought today. Thank you all for joining us. What a great presentation. I feel empowered. I'm going to go check out ChatGPT. Maybe there's something today that you connected with. Put that energy into it. Look into it. Don't be afraid. Step into the good stuff. All right. Well, take care, everyone. We'll see you next time. And Loa, an honor as usual.
Thank you. Thank you, Michelle. And thank you, Tara. So nice being with everybody today. Enjoy your week. Thanks. Bye.